Hello everyone and welcome to the fifth episode of the DevConnect show. Today our guest is from Sichin, Poland, but originally from Ukraine. He is a CRM architect at 3Shape. His love for coding and dancing goes so far that he has actually created a blog called dancingwithcrm.com. He was recently awarded as a Microsoft MVP in business application. He also created a tool called Portal Helper, which is the Visual Studio Code extension. So let's welcome our guest, Oleksandr Olashyn. Hello, Alexander. Welcome to the DevConnect show.
Hi, it's really nice to be here.
Yeah, awesome. It's so glad to actually finally connect with you because we had conversations offline, but we never actually saw face to face. We never talked. So it's glad to have you on the show and talk to you actually.
Yes, that's true. I think first time we speak like 2 years ago when PCF just started,
Yeah,
something like that.
yeah,
So
yeah.
yeah,
Good. Well, I was going through your GitHub profile this morning, and I was like, "You like dancing," and that's what clicked me. Dancing with CRM. So,
yep.
so what dance style do you actually like?
So I was doing dancing actually since I was 5 years old. So it's like a
Oh,
huge part of my life. I was doing it professionally. I participated in contests, and it's mostly classical dancing, like just standard program, but also like show style dancing. So it's really things that I enjoy. And unfortunately, because of this, coronavirus thing, it wasn't doing great because we cannot dance properly. But I hope that soon it will be better and I will keep dancing back again.
yeah, I would love to see you dance at some point. I cannot dance. Truth to be honest, I'll just move my hands and legs a little bit, but I cannot dance. But I love people dance and I love to look at it. So, glad. Good. So, your passion is again coding, you
Yeah,
mentioned, and then you love dancing, and that's why you came up with the dancingwithcrm.com. But I never saw
exactly.
any blog around dancing on that website.
Yeah, well, dancing is the things that I enjoy and it's a hobby, but right now, professionally at least, I'm all into coding, so especially in
Right.
this Power Platform and things. So, and I wanted to have a dedicated place to share things about coding, but also, show a bit tips that I'm into dancing as well. So,
Yeah, what you should do is you should start a YouTube video and then just maybe you teach dancing on YouTube. That's a nice thing to do, and post it on Dancing with CRM. So now you have dancing and CRM content all on one website.
that sounds interesting. I should
Yeah.
just definitely try it.
Yeah, I've seen Julian Sharp dance. This was from some promo that Raz put together at some point, and wow, he dances like I think he can compete with you. He dances very good. I've seen him dance actually in one of the promos. So yeah, you should talk to him.
Nice. I definitely should. That's
Yeah,
interesting.
yeah, cool. So you recently also became MVP in business application. How was that journey? How did you feel about it?
Honestly, I was really surprised about it. Like, I hope, that it will become a thing one day, but at the same time, there was a feeling of disbelief because, come on, I am an MVP. Like, it's
Yeah,
it's so bizarre. Yeah, like it took me like months or two to comprehend it, to really believe that, okay, it wasn't a dream. It become a reality. So I'm really happy to be, and just become an MVP is a good thing, but I need to keep up and keep myself as this trophy and have more things to do. So
yeah, yeah. Who nominated you? Just out of
Andrew
curiosity.
Butenko.
Oh, okay. So this was all because of PCF, I believe.
Yeah, mostly we started chat with Andrew like 2 years ago, and mostly my thing on my blog is about PCF. But
Right.
actually, I would say the last year it was mostly about portals. So I
Oh,
think it also played a big part in my nomination.
oh, I didn't knew about the portals thing. So good to know. Good to know. Awesome. So yeah, so you created this awesome tool on Power Apps portal helper on for
Yeah.
Visual Studio Extension, right? So how did you actually come up with this idea? Like, why did you think that a Visual Studio Extension would be really helpful for the community?
Well, basically, you were my inspiration for this one with your PCF builder that I'm using when I'm creating my controls. And I was thinking, these commands are cool thing. And now, because PowerUp's CLI finally support portals,
Right.
it's a good thing to have something, some extension, some set of commands that will help users. Because being honest, even myself, I constantly forgetting some commands and type of
Right.
parameters that we can pass in them, and having it in more readable and user-friendly format is, a big time saver. So, as soon as I saw that CLI is available, I decided, okay, I need to create extension. So
Yeah.
it's
I haven't tried the Power Apps CLI for portals yet. So like, does it have all the commands that you can do with the portals? Like, you can manage your site without actually going into portals? Is that what it
Not
does?
really. Not really. So it still doesn't allow you to create things. For example, like basic forms and advanced forms, you still need to create them through the interface inside the Portal Management app or in Portal Studio. And then you can download them and do some things. So not everything, like you literally download configuration files
Mm,
and store them, and you still do a big chunk of work on management app in Studio. And I would say it's a good thing and the bad thing, because good thing is you literally need to have this user experience to be more productive and do things faster. And I don't see a real need to do it in CLI. At the same time, I would love to try it. I actually don't know how it would look like, but I really like to have everything in one place, and
mhm.
constantly live in Visual Studio Code would be ideal for me. But it's much better than what we had previously. And
Right.
previously we had only XRM Toolbox and Portal Code Editor. It's a great tool and it was a great help for me. But constantly copying code from there to Visual Studio Code, editing, copy back to upload, it wasn't a good framework.
Right.
So right now, when we can avoid it and store everything safely in GitHub in easy way, and also have some sort of ILM, it's a great help.
Yeah, ALM is, I think so, one of the benefit of what you can get with the CLI, right? You download it, everything is in like the folder structure, the file structures, everything. You can check in, deploy it, and then once you deploy it, you can actually, can you deploy it to new environments? Can you create new environments?
So with this one, we don't need to create a new environment. So basically, we just need to upload it to the proper environment.
Oh, I see. So you can create the environment from the UI and then just upload it over there. So yeah, it
Exactly.
actually then it's good for the ALM support, right? It makes more sense. So yeah, good, good. How was your experience with using Visual Studio Code extension? Like, the experience of developing an extension?
So it was sort of a double-edged thing. From the one hand, it was surprisingly easy, to get started to do some things. It was like super easy. Some things weren't that clear. Like, in the reference guide, in the description, they said, okay, you can do this, but again, there is no example of doing it. And I was
Hmm.
like, searching different things in Stack Overflow when other people also complaining that there was no example to this, there was no example to that. Uh, your extension was actually a great help for me because I was, seeing how you did it, and it helped me to structure my code better, to find things much easier. So yeah, I think in a couple of weeks, I would definitely write a couple of examples that I was stumbling upon and wasn't able to find on the internet to share with
Hmm.
others, especially on
Right.
working with directories and passing, local URLs and stuff like that. So
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, because this is also my experience as well. Like, when you start building extensions for Visual Studio Code, the amount of documentation that you have is very limited, and they don't actually go dive into each and everything that you can do with the extension. And you're like, oh wait, it does talk about this, but doesn't provide me with any details. So how do I actually do it? And then you're just like experimenting with how it actually works out. Yeah, I totally get
Exactly.
that. Yeah, cool, awesome. So let's now focus on your tool. Like, let's see how your tool looks like and how you can work with the tool. So whenever you're ready, feel free to share your screen.
Yep. Share my screen. Okay, so can you see my screen?
It's coming up. Okay, yep, we can.
Okay, great. So let me open Visual Studio Code. So we have an empty folder called portals when I will store all my portals. And we can open command palette and see what commands are available. So basically, this is a full list of commands. Some of them are, known to you because they are general, like list out profiles, create new out profile, delete profile, switch profile. Basically, it's a standard CLI thing that is common for everything. I just included them because maybe some users will not have PCF builder as I do, so it's
Right.
just easier for them to use it.
So it's the
And
same command for the auth profiles that we create for PCF as well.
exactly, it's completely the
Okay.
same thing.
Okay.
And then there are some specific commands like list portals, which basically bring up the list of all available portals. Download portal, which downloads portal locally by ID. And then upload portal, which uploads a portal from specific folder. And then I created my specific commands called download latest, which basically allows to save settings and download it in one click without typing every time the folder structure and ID of your portal. And upload current portal basically uploads the current folder which is open in Visual Studio Code.
Mm-hmm.
So
But then, so download latest and upload current portal is something that you created just because the extension was providing something extra and you just took the advantage of it, right?
exactly.
Okay.
So let's start with list portals. So list portal, as you can see, pack PA portal list. And basically it brings a list of all available portals. And on my dev instance, I have only one starter portal with this ID. So we need to copy this ID because when you download portal, you need to provide the ID of the portal.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm copying it, and now let's download the portal. And now I need to provide the local path and okay, portals. And now I need to provide the ID of the portal. And then I need to select override existing portal, yes or no. So basically these options, if you have already portal downloaded, you need to select yes every time, because if you will not select it, it will not update it with the latest version. So basically
Okay.
this option ideally should be true almost every time, but maybe you've done some things and you have some files not related to the color portals that you don't want to override. But being honest,
So,
I don't see any reason why you shouldn't select yes every time.
so you have said this is optional. So
Yep.
if I just press enter
Yeah.
without selecting yes or no, the default would be yes.
No. So default is as in current documentation, it is not provided. So by default, it's false in
Okay.
current CLI. And the problem with it, if you, for example, already download the portal and you did some changes on the portal side and you want to actually update them, if you didn't hit yes, it will show you an error that, portal already exists. Please select override to update it.
I see. Okay.
So for this one, we can select no because, as you can see, there is no portal. Okay, and we can see the command here. So backpay portal download, then pass to the folder and ID. And because I selected no to override, the last parameter is empty. So, and as you can see, it downloaded all the Power Apps portal content. So everything, pages, templates, settings, etc. Basically everything that we will work with.
Mm-hmm. And then if you have multiple, like if let's say when we are working with ALM, so
Yep.
when we are downloading, let's say we have two portals. One is
Yes.
your starter portal, and the other one is, let's say, community portal. You can still download them in the same folder, right? Or
Yeah.
do you have to keep them in the separate folders?
So as you can see now in my portal folder, there is a subfolder created called starter portal. Basically what CLI will do, it will create a separate folder for each portal with the friendly name, like starter portal, community portal, or if you renamed it, it will, for example, we have one help center portal, so it's called help/center/portal. So it will be downloaded
Okay.
here.
Okay.
So now I will navigate to this folder that it's created uh, and open the code here. So why I'm doing it is it's because some of the commands are done on the folder level. For example, upload current, right? You need
Mm-hmm.
to have it as a root folder for your Visual Studio Code to make it happen. So now we will work from here. So this is our
Okay.
portal. And as you can see, it's basically download everything, like all of your forms, content snippets, lists, page templates, basically everything that you need and that you can configure, and also a lot of configuration files. Now, all of them are in YAML, which I, from one hand, honestly, I don't use to work with YAML yet. So I would rather allow to work with JSON, but honestly, it's just a preference of mine.
Right.
And I think it will go away with time, and I will work with YAML more.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay,
So
so
these are all. So these are all. Okay. So I see polls, web pages.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. I see.
Mm.
Okay.
And some of them, like for example, table permissions, that's why I was talking about it's much easier to work with it in user interface that created manually because, you would need to remember all these things and why it's related to what. So it's good to have the
Right.
UI for it because right now, as of now, it would be really hard to do.
Yeah, because you need to know the GUIDs for
Yeah,
each
you
and
need to
everything,
have the
like
goods. You need to have the know the option set values. Like for
right.
example, this ID scope. I remember that because this is an admin table permission, this is a global scope, but I would not remember it if it wasn't the name, So it's good to have it
Right.
in user
Yeah.
interface.
Yeah, I think so. Which actually makes sense because you manage this in the UI, right?
Exactly.
But then the way it's captured here is really nice because then during the ALM process or during the code review process, before you deploy anything to, let's say, from dev to test, you can check whether the permissions were changed because sometimes you might be testing something and the permission might have changed, but is it really needed to change those permissions? So as a code review process, you can put those things in place and then say, is there any differences between the previous and the current commit, right?
Exactly.
Yeah.
And if we will check something more, things that we can modify, for example, web templates, for example, what we can check, let's say blank page. Like, so we have the HTML that we can easily modify and update here, and then just upload was updated. And each HTML file will have its own configuration file. So basically, it will store ID and the name on the
Mm-hmm.
page.
Yeah.
And the
Again, I
same,
mean, again, for the same thing, HTML would be something that you would like to edit, but YAML file will be something that is just for the reference, right? What has changed, just for the sanity
exactly.
purposes. Okay.
And the same thing, for example, if your web page has a couple of content pages, in different languages, they all will be here. And so, for example, this is US web page. If I will create a new language for the portal, it will generate, for example, we will create one in French, right? And it will download it, and we will see it here as well. And all the advanced settings like custom JavaScript or custom CSS, they are also downloaded with the page and stored as this web.webpage.custom.js, .custom.javascript.js, and the same with CSS.
Okay.
Um, okay. So let's dive into the next commands. So let's start with upload portal. Basically, it allows us to upload the current portal back to the system, and you need to provide again the path to the portal. So basically, where you store it. That's why I created upload current portal, because honestly, I don't want to every time type the path of the portal. So it's just easier
Right.
for me to create a new command and just, upload it once and again. So let's, for example, create updates. For example, let's do it with the CSS, right? So instead of black, let's say white. We don't actually, and save it. And let's right now says portal. Okay, we want to upload current portal. So as you can see, it's uploading portal with the current path with the root folder. Now, the upload function is smart, so it will not upload everything every time. It will just upload the things that you change. So it's a great time saver, because if it would upload everything every time, it would be a disaster. So
Right.
and we
But then
can
how does
check.
it know what has changed? Like, does it do a full compare? Like, how does it know
That's a
which file
good
has
question.
changed?
Actually, I don't know how exactly they compare. I just know that they upload only things that changed. But my so
Yeah, I
yeah,
believe there might be some checksum somewhere that might be getting changed on certain things.
yeah, most probably.
But yeah, okay. That's
Uh,
something that I'll try to dig into because now I'm curious.
yeah, so we updated product A CSS. So if we go product A and go to advanced, and in custom CSS, as you can see, now it says border 1 pixel solid white. So it updated from our file.
Yeah. That
Uh,
was quick and that was like really smart enough to identify which files changed and just update that. That's
exactly.
really impressive.
Yeah, and it saves a lot of time, and it's just so much easier to do from here than
Hmm.
from somewhere else. Um, then we have, let's say we did some changes and we want to download. So I created the download latest, and as I told you, this is basically wrapper about the download portal, which will save the type value. So for example, I want to download latest, and first time I need to provide the path to the folder which I want to download and save, or C for current parent folder, because I'm lazy. So let's
Hmm.
type C to current, and then ID of our portal. Yes. And as you can see, it's downloading it. Oh, okay. Unfortunately, I have not updated my local version of Portal Helper. Okay, that's
That
fine.
happens.
That happens. Yeah, I need to update it. So we will type the full name again. It can happen. Okay, I
Now
found the
it's
bug.
taking.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, great. So before Google shows the show, I will already release the update. Nice. Okay, things happens. Uh, anyway, let's move to the next thing.
That's
Because
a. I'll be creating an issue for that. I'm just kidding. I know
yeah,
you'll fix it before this even gets published, so I'm
definitely.
not worried about that.
Yeah. Okay. Let's move to the other thing. So with command, we can see that there is not that much things that left. Basically, authentication profiles that are known to everyone who works with PCF, but with the one who doesn't work with it, it's basically allow you to create identification profile and to log in with
Hmm.
your credentials, and it will store it and it will leave you access to the selected environments. So if you have multiple, you can create multiple profiles and you can switch between them.
Hmm.
Uh, One thing I found out when I was working with CLI is that I want to ability to create these custom CSS and JavaScript because we constantly work with them on the pages. Like you always create JavaScript and CSS unless you're working with templates, but that's a different story. And I wanted to have the ability to create them as well. So that's why I created a context command. So for example, for product B, actually for services maybe. Yeah, for about us. Oh, created everywhere. Yeah, let's delete it. This one. So for product B, for example, let's remove those CSS and JavaScript folders. So now our web page doesn't have custom JavaScript and CSS code. And actually,
do you want to update it first?
Yeah, let's upload it from the current, because it should take it up and remove values.
Yep.
So portal, we can say upload current. And it should clean up our product B page. So let's check it out. Product B. It didn't. Anyway, let's do it like this. Okay, so it's clean. Now I created a context command. So you need to hit webpage.yaml. So it's now to which web page to create. And if you right click to see the context menu, there is two commands called create custom CSS and create custom JS. Basically what it will do, if you click, for example, create custom JS, it will create a new JavaScript file with the name that is used by PowerApp CLI to determine that this is advanced, this is a custom JavaScript for this web page. And now if your web page doesn't have it, you can just create it like this and provide some value, for example, console log. So DevConnect. So you can save it, and let's again portal upload current.
I like how you actually spell DevConnect properly with D and C capital. So thank you.
And if we go back and refresh, we can see. So it's simplifying a lot of work, because you're constantly creating those things, you're constantly modifying them, and being able to do it with one-click action, I thought was very helpful, because that as with a lot of these tools, you create them to solve mostly your own problems, and help others by just sharing your solutions.
Yeah, definitely. And I see that you have utilized the context menu so nicely that it actually makes more sense. So you don't have to worry about adding JavaScript or CSS, which I think that's why most of the people are gonna like this CLI tool, is to ensure that they can do JavaScript or write CSS in Visual Studio Code, and maybe even use Prettier, right? You can use Prettier extension, make your code look a little pretty, and then upload it in Portals, because Portals is not the UI. If you're using the UI, it's not capable enough in doing that. So yeah, this is fantastic.
Yeah, and also to thinking about a bit ahead, I also implemented a bit of, I would say feature. So this context menu to create custom JavaScript and CSS will only show if you click on webpage.yaml files. Like if I'm clicking on this JavaScript file, it will not show, because I don't want the users to see this context menu everywhere. So like on the folders, etc. So only if it's webpage.yaml, only then it will be available.
Right. So, but what's the difference between so content page also has YAML, and then you have the product B sample web page as YAML as well. So that's just the content HTML, whereas that's the page HTML, right?
Yep.
Okay, but
So
then
basically,
the context would also appear on the content page as well, because content can also
yes,
have JavaScript and
yeah,
CSS.
yes, of course, and it will be shown in content web page YAML. And also, not only for web pages, if we are talking about, for example, basic forms, right? So basic form also can have custom JavaScript.
Uh-huh.
So, if you click on it and all custom CSS, you can see it as well for basic form and for advanced form steps. So if your advanced form have at least one step, that step can have custom JavaScript. So you can just click on it and it will appear here.
Oh, nice, nice, awesome. That's cool. I know there's only a few commands, but this looks so
Yep.
powerful because now I can see the extension of like using it in ALM, making sure your code renders properly, using the Visual Studio Code Power, where you can look at syntax validation. You can make your code look prettier, like using prettier extensions and whatnot. And yeah, just this feels native to me when I'm writing code. That's why this was one of the thing that was preventing me for actually doing anything on portals, because whenever I used to go in portals and look at the UI, I never felt like writing any code. So I think so now
Yeah.
this would make me feel better when I can write code in Visual Studio Code and then just upload it in portals.
Yeah, same thing. So one of the, you know, for me, for example, I love to code things, and I love to have the full control. So even though, for example, Portal Studio allows you a lot of out of the box things, place image here, place list here, do things there, I'm still too tight to code using all Portal management app because I love to control things. And now when I have this extension, I'm like, okay, I finally can do whatever I need to do in a way how I like it, and it's much faster than I've done it before. So I'm really happy, and I already started using it on my daily job
Yeah,
from
awesome.
the beginning.
Anything else? Any final words that you wanna share with us, Alex?
Yeah, so this extension is fully free and open source. So, if somebody wants to contribute to it, if somebody found a bug on things, just go to GitHub and push the issues and create issue. Or if you want some new things, you found some patterns that you're using when developing Portal, which will greatly help others, uh, just submit it as a proposal, and I will review it, and if it's really cool thing, I will definitely implement it, because I do things that only with the community we can extend those things. Like for example, your PCF builder is a great example of it. It simplified my routine so much. So yeah.
Yeah, and so nice that you brought that up, piece. So can you show us where the GitHub repo is? I'll be posting the link for the GitHub repo anyway in the video's description, but it would be good that you can show it where people can go and review, look at the
Yeah.
code, look at the extension, how they can search for the extension, things like that.
Yeah, so to find this extension, you can just go to extensions tab of Visual Studio and type Power Apps Portal Helper, and it will appear. You can also download it from the marketplace. So just Google VS Code Marketplace Power Apps Portal Helper. But I think almost nobody uses Marketplace. It's just much more convenient to do it from Visual Studio Code. Yeah, and also if you want to go to repository and stuff, if you already install it in the solutions, there is a repository button that you can just click and it will open my repository. And here you can just go to issues or create your own pull request. Also, I'm using changelog to track changes. So, if you want to see some new things or things that were added in the last version, you can always go to changelog and see what changed.
Yeah, this is one thing that I am not using, so I should look into that. But Alexander, can you also show us on the marketplace where people can leave review about this tool when they start using it?
Yep. So VS Code.
Yeah, so the first thing that pops up is Oleksandr's tool, Power Apps Portal help.
Yep. Yeah, so you can go here to Marketplace and leave a review. So just hit rating and review and write a review.
Awesome.
So to leave your feedback.
Yeah, that's so helpful. And again, thank you for sharing this tool with us, for creating this tool with us, which is now first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to download this tool and start developing my applications on Power Apps Portal, because I have been working in CRM space for long, but I always have been hesitant with portals just because I don't like the interface of writing code or managing stuff. So I think that this is going to be that thing that can help me move over to the portal side. So thanks for creating this tool and sharing it with us today.
Yep, happy to be here.
So folks, as you can see, Power Apps CLI now supports Power Apps Portal, and that's a giant leap for the Portal community, because now you can manage your code in your source repository of your choice, and also supports ALM process, which was lacking in Portal for so long. Now I'm super excited, and I'm going to download this tool, which is going to help me do these things in Visual Studio Code. So to download the tool, the link is provided in video's description. Also, I've provided links to connect with Oleksandr on social media, and all of those links are in the video's description as well. Now, if you like the content, hit the like button, and also don't forget to click subscribe for more such content. Until next time.